Hi guys, welcome to the show. See our
Hey,
cute
what's
little
up,
band.
everybody? What's going on? Stevie, are you there, Stevie?
Where's Joe?
I can't see you, Stevie. I'm afraid. I'm so afraid of tonight's show. I had to hide my head, man. Tonight's gonna be a fucking scary one. It's awesome. We're gonna have a good show
Uh,
tonight. What's going on, people? How are you tonight? How's
I
everybody
love
doing
it. I
out
love
there?
it. I love it. Hi guys, and welcome to episode 36 of Horror Metal Cast. I am Stevie, and this is Young Joseph. For those of you that don't know, um,
Uh,
how you doing tonight, Joe?
I am doing just damn ducky over here. I can't. I'm getting beat up by a sweat jacket. I almost inhaled a
Gotta
cookie
watch out
10
for those
minutes.
fucking things.
Other than that, man, I'm ready to rock and roll. We got some cool shit tonight, man.
Yeah,
I can't
man,
wait to
we
get to
got
it.
some great topics tonight. So make sure you guys click that fucking like button. What's up, Sean? We've already got somebody in the chat. Make sure
Sean,
you guys click that like button and make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Tonight we're going to be talking about meaning Joe and I's top 10 metal movie soundtracks and horror movie villains.
yeah.
And we've got a couple honorable mentions. In addition to that, we're going to be always talking about other crazy stuff. I also have from Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. I have some people sent me their favorites as well. So those can be brought up too, some honorable mentions. And basically, we can just dive right into shit. So stick around for the whole show. It's going to be fun. Basically, something real quick before we dive into stuff. Finally, I have been waiting so long. Just for whatever reason, I guess maybe it's because we're in the middle of a pandemic. I have been obsessed with Stephen King's The Stand this year. I'm rereading it. I rewatched the shitty one from the 90s, and fucking finally we got a premiere date for the new 2020 Stand that's coming out from CBS All Access, and it's going to come out December 17th, and I'm so fucking stoked about it. And you people better believe that Joe and I are going to be talking about it.
Yeah, we'll probably be on the phone during it. You know what I mean? This is not going to be the hand of God. This is going to be a little better spun, a little better done. Stevie had just mentioned to me earlier that King rewrote the ending. So, everybody says his endings were shitty, but don't tell him that. You know what I mean?
I think he knows. He even knows. He even makes fun of himself about it.
He does. So he rewrote the ending, and I'm dying to see that. And yeah, we'll probably be on the phone talking about it like for 3 days. We'll probably be camping, in front of like a large TV, like a TV store, waiting for this thing to come out. It's going to be amazing.
With any luck, you'll probably be down in Florida for Christmas, so we'll be able to watch some of the episodes together. So that'll be awesome.
That would be very cool.
I mean, Joe and I are big fans of The Stand. Not so much big fans of The Hand of God, but
that was. I mean, they really just. I mean, I know it's a made-for-TV movie, but it's not an after-school special. You know what I mean? They really could have done so much more with that movie. So I can't wait either, Stevie. I'm very excited.
And it's going to be cool because he rewrote the ending. So even people who have read the book multiple times or who have seen the old made-for-TV movie, it's going to be something new, something refreshing, and something more applicable to today's world in 2020. So I think a lot of people are going to be looking forward to it. I know I have been. But anyway, and hey, Joe Compton, welcome to the show. That's 2 days. It comes out 2 days before Joe Compton's birthday, everybody. So send him a birthday gift.
That's right.
You can go cool early birthday gift for Joe Compton. Go to his YouTube channel. It's Go Indie Now. It's a badass show. And yeah, he's a great dude with a great show. And so without further ado, we will get into the meat and potatoes of this evening's episode.
The grinding wheels.
Yes,
of the
grinding wheels of the show. Do you want to talk about the meat or do you want to talk about the potatoes?
I feel maybe perhaps we should go for the potatoes.
We're gonna go with the potatoes, because the Irish guy just got into the chat, so we'll start with the potatoes.
Hi, raise a little bit of the potatoes for you. All right. So that's going to be, you want to do,
Well, since Adrian's name is Irish Metal Maniac, we'll start with the metal soundtracks. How about that?
yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. All
We'll
right.
go with that. Those are the potatoes.
Stevie, go ahead. Number one, your
Okay.
5 favorite.
My 5 favorites. How about you want to go back and forth? That way, yeah.
One and one, 2 and 2. Yeah, that's fine.
All right,
see,
very
guys,
good.
no fucking rules here. We just do this shit.
We do what we want. We do what we want around here.
Yeah.
So my number one, and you're gonna see that as much shit as I give new metal and the shit that I talk about it, I listened to a lot of it. Let's just be honest. When I was younger and when I was in high school, that's pretty much that was my thing to listen to.
Right.
You know, and even now, you know, I listen to primarily when it comes to metal, hardcore or metalcore, shit like that. But so you're gonna notice a trend in my top 5 metal soundtracks and why they are my favorites. So number one, my favorite metal movie soundtrack is gonna be Resident Evil Apocalypse, which is the second Resident Evil movie. It's really good. You've got some really good shit on there, like from CKY, 36 Crazy Fist, Killswitch Engage, Deftones, Lacuna Coil, Slipknot. You've got a bunch of shit on there that's really, really good. I just remember thinking about that soundtrack. I thought about it today with a lot of fondness. I look back on that album, and the movie's not so bad itself. First one was better, but you know, not a bad franchise. And I believe Roadrunner Records did their soundtracks, so that's why they have so many artists from Roadrunner on their stuff. So that's my number one. Resident Evil Apocalypse.
All right, my number one, for a lot of obvious reasons, is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. One of the scariest movies to me when I was a kid ever. The soundtrack, I mean, when I actually went back and looked at the soundtrack and could not believe the amount of shit that was packed into that movie. There was Pantera. I don't even remember even hearing them. I remember like going like this and going, you know, and that, but not even registering the amount of music that was in there. I mean, Cedar was in there. Where the hell was Cedar? Static X was in there. You had Hatebreed. Hatebreed. I love Hatebreed. I didn't remember even hearing it, you know, but the list goes on and on. Meshuggah, who is from Sweden.
Yeah.
One of my favorite fucking.
Surprisingly, they're in more movie soundtracks from like the early 2000s than I even remember them being in.
That's because they're as twisted as the movie. I mean, the shit that they write is just like, you know, it's ridiculous. They're so over the top. But yeah, they were in there. So I mean, I could go on and on and on. Now,
and you know, as far as like like remakes and shit go, that's not a bad Texas Chainsaw either. I mean, a lot of people might disagree, but whatever.
Right. I thought it was actually pretty good.
I don't mind it at all. And we've already been there and we've done that. We're not going to get back into it. I don't mind remakes, so I'm not a purist. So moving along, my number 2 is and Sean says the Crow soundtrack is pretty solid. Actually, that is an honorable mention tonight, but we're going to get to the honorable mentions shortly. So no spoilers there. But yes, agreed. The Crow soundtrack is tight. My number 2 is going to be the first movie in the Resident Evil franchise. And I promise not every soundtrack on my top 5 is going to be Resident Evil. Okay. Just happens to be the first 2 are my favorites. You know, and again, it was a Roadrunner Records album, I believe. Manson actually did the main title theme and the original score for the first film. It's kind of got like an electronic feel, the theme, if you can remember it. But my favorite song from Static X is actually on this album, Anything But This. And then there's also great stuff from Fear Factory, Rammstein, Slipknot, Manson, what have you. So it's a really good album. Again, I look back on it with great fondness, and I would still listen to it today. So that makes a good metal album, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, guys, anything at all that you're putting in the comments, Last Action Hero, The Crow, The River's Edge, Drop the Mic, end of discussion. Joe Compton says, so, keep them coming. What are your favorite soundtracks? I want to hear them. But that's my number 2 is Resident Evil.
My number 2, believe it or not, was Airheads. And it was probably, an older movie, obviously.
No, Airheads is a fun movie. It's so fun.
It was fucking great. I mean, there was a ton of guys in that band. One of the tracks was from Anthrax. It was called London. That was a favorite for a long time of mine. But there was a lot of bands in there that were unexpected. Primus was in there. I think Zombie was in there. I might be mixing that up. But I just remember the soundtrack slamming. I absolutely remember one of the glowing points was, like I said, was that Anthrax track, because it was a one-off. It was nothing because I was a big fan of Anthrax, and it was not on any album. What the hell is that?
The movie was great too, and I don't know why I'm such a Brendan Fraser fan. Like, even after all these years of him getting thin again,
Yeah.
like, who cares? Whatever. I love him. He's a great actor. I'm actually watching Doom Patrol right now, and Brendan Fraser makes that show. Like, he reminds me of why he was his performance in Doom Patrol reminds me of why he was so wildly popular, like in the 90s and shit, is because he actually is fucking funny. You know what I mean? But yeah, sorry. I'll talk about Brendan Fraser for an hour if you let me. So I'm just going to.
All right. Number 3, Stevie.
Number 3. Okay. So even though not every song on this soundtrack is a metal song, God damn, it's got some good stuff on it. So I included it. Okay. Underworld, the first Underworld movie soundtrack.
Great movie.
Number 3. It's got Skinny Puppy, Perfect Circle, Pussifer, Dillinger Escape Plan.
Kate Beckinsale.
Yes, Kate Beckinsale. She's not on the soundtrack, but she's in the movie. It's a really great album that just really fucking hits, and so that's definitely my number 3. And plus, it helps also, like, when the soundtracks are good, it also helps that the movies are good too. So that's me.
All right.
And then, so our qualifications weren't that they had to be horror movies either. It's just that they had to be metal soundtracks, or mostly metal soundtracks, whatever.
All right, so my number 3 it's only one song, and I mean it's probably one of my favorite songs. That is Ace Ventura's Pet Detective, and the song is Hammer Smash Face by Cannibal Corpse. And I mean, when I saw them in Ace Ventura, I went, "Are they gonna play? Are they gonna play? Are they gonna play? They're playing my favorite song. My favorite song." I love Hammer Smash Face. I couldn't believe they were in the movie, let alone playing my favorite fucking song.
Yeah.
So that was a huge, huge treat for me. I do have some death metal roots, and a lot of people don't know that. I did love a lot of old death metal. So
that's awesome.
Cannibal Corpse is fucking amazing, and that is just like one of my favorite songs by them. So that I know it should be higher up in the ranking, but it's only one song. So,
hey, whatever.
But it's still one of my favorites.
Hey, whatever. We've got a question from the chat. What's the worst movie with the best soundtrack? Well, I'm looking at it right here on the screen. Freddy versus Jason was a pretty terrible fucking movie with a really killer soundtrack. So
that's on my list, guys. It
was on my list. I took it off my list because it was on Joe's list, and then it's on Joe Compton's list. He's got
I would have it no matter what. That's on my list. They beat the shit out of each other for I don't know, an hour and a half. I couldn't tell you who fucking won. All I know is that the music was awesome.
It's not a very good movie.
I turned it up. I turned it up solely when I left to get a drink because I wanted to hear the fucking soundtrack. I couldn't tell you what happened in the fucking movie. You're right, Joe. That was an amazing soundtrack that they had.
Sean doesn't think the movie's that bad, dude. Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah.
It's bad.
No, it was all right. I mean,
what other movies are real shitty, but the music's really good? I'm trying to think. Man, that's a fuck. We should have thought of like the worst movies with the best soundtracks. That's another show idea.
Thank you, Sean. That's fucking 3 points for you, sir.
So number 4 is
your number 4.
Yeah, number 4 is, again, not every song is a metal song, but it's got some fucking great tracks. Plus, the movie's cool because who doesn't like a David Lynch film? Hello, right. With artists like Trent Reznor doing a couple tracks, and Bowie, for all sense of the word metal, Bowie is not, but he so fucking is. I love David Bowie, but it's got Nine Inch Nails, Rammstein, Reznor. Lost Highway, and again, the whole thing rocks. The soundtrack, the movie, like I said, who doesn't enjoy a David Lynch film? Probably a lot of people, but I do. So, I enjoy one, and probably a lot of people don't. So that's my number 4 is Lost Highway.
It's your list. You're allowed to put on whatever the fuck you want on it. That's your list. You know what I mean? My number 4 is Freddy versus Jason. I mean, you got El Nino, Killswitch, Spinecheck, Hatebreed, Slipknot, Devil Driver, who a lot of people don't like, but I'm actually a fan of them. I hated Dez and the other band, but I actually like them in Devil Driver. I think it's pretty creative. Some of it's cookie cutter, some of it's stamped, but they got cool hooks. And Dez is pretty assy. The soloing is pretty cool. So I actually like them. But a typo was in that movie, on that soundtrack.
Oh, hell yeah. Yep, I remember.
What typo do in a fucking Freddy Krueger movie? I don't know. But it worked for me. It was cool. I enjoyed it. So that's my number 4.
R.I.P. Pete Steele.
Love Pete Steele.
Yeah. And then Adrian brings up Judgment Night. Great soundtrack. Sean brings up Shocker.
Bordello of Blood.
Oh yeah, Demon Night. And then Joe says that Lost Highway is his favorite Lynch film.
Yeah, prom. It was Prom Night 1 and 2, right?
So let's see, number 5. My number 5. Unless you had more to say about Freddy versus Jason.
No.
Okay. No. My number 5, and I like that we're flying through this only because I know we got to get those honorable mentions in, and then I know that we're gonna have a lot to say about the villains. My number 5 is a healthy mix of metal and electronic. The Matrix, which was a huge killer soundtrack. Deftones, Prodigy, Rage Against the Machine, again, Rammstein. Then you've got Rob Dugan. You've got like just different. And like I said, a healthy mix would be the best way to describe it of electro and metal. So that's my number 5.
I do. I love Rammstein too. They're a lot of fun. They're nuts on stage. Their live shows are ridiculous.
Oh, dude. Aren't they all like fucking like pyrotechnic certified or some shit? Like
they need to be, man.
They're fucking wild. They're not what's that band that Jesus Christ, they killed a bunch of people with their fucking pyrotechnics. What was it? Not Whitesnake. Oh, Great White. Yeah.
Great White, yeah. Great White. Well, the club only had one exit too. That was kind of hokey, but yeah, that was a bad scene, man. A lot of people got killed.
Yeah.
I actually, on a liner note, I don't know why I'm bringing this up, but now you're talking about oh, look, a squirrel. I played at the Agora Theater where Dimebag was shot. I was on that. I played on that stage. That was a much bigger place and had ample exits. Yeah. That was the point, I guess. I don't know.
Whatever.
Yeah, just thinking, bands that died, and that was a simple
Oh
one.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, and bigger clubs was probably the idea. I wanted to mention they have more doors on them so people can actually get out while they're on fire. It's a pretty good idea,
This is like
If
this
you all
just got very morbid all of a sudden. I just feel like, why are we talking about people burning to death? Jesus Christ. um, Joe Compton says that their new album fucking rules. Their new album. Oh, he spelled it wrong. I see. I see what you did there. And
yeah.
he's a writer. Hey, you know what though? We all forget the difference between there, and there sometimes, don't we? I mean, I don't, but I'm perfect. So I mean, but that was a joke, Joe. Don't just sit there and nod. Jesus. He just sits there and nods sometimes. He's the dumb friend. Remember, everyone?
You have no idea what's going on inside my head, Steve. You don't
so I know. You've had a rough week. I know.
Those stuff.
So
later we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we will before the show's over. Our honorable mentions.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna. So originally, you had put heavy metal on your list.
I did.
You took it off.
I did because well, back in the day it was. I mean, that's too easy. I think everybody knows that's like one of the staple classic movies. I mean, that's a gimme. That's archived into the annals as the heavy metal movie. A lot of the bands that were. What did you say? Did I hiccup?
You said the annals.
The annals? Yeah, the annals.
I can't.
You know what I'm talking about? The ass thing, the butt end of the, where the poop comes out there is what I'm talking about. Annals of heavy metal. The annals. I like the kid sometimes. I'm really going to try to get it. I'm really going to try to get it.
You're an avocado, Joe. You're an avocado.
You remember that? Bishop Apocondo. Apocondo. You're an avocado.
We squirreled. We went off.
Oh, the squirrel. And off he goes. He's on a tear. I told you tonight was going to be a good show.
I'm not even drinking. Look, I'm drinking water.
No, look at the bag of cookies. I am literally sitting here destroying his fucking. I was choking 3 minutes before the show.
Now, are those normal cookies? Or special?
Yeah. No, those special cookies. I'm the special one here.
Oh God, your special cookies.
These are these are oatmeal raisin made for me by a very good friend of ours. I've got I have 6 bags of cookies, guys. So I was chewing up a cookie. Steve was going over the list, and a piece got caught.
And then he's just like choking, giving himself the Heimlich.
She's totally oblivious. She's talking, and our 5th number, I'm going. She's going. And number 6 bottle, I'm like. Hello, air tank, oxygen.
Listen,
medic. That was pretty funny. No, I got through. We got through that, Stevie.
We did. You ended up alive. Always with this show, you got to just try to push through and not die halfway through. At least that's what I do.
All right. So going back to the point, which we're talking about.
Let's not swirl anymore.
Our honorable mentions, mine obviously, and I just watched it again for, not reference, but just for kicks. Trick or Treat.
Oh, the baby's crying. Sorry, everyone. Yeah, he's in the background screaming his lungs out. So don't worry. He's not alone. Yeah, he's with his dad.
Trick or Treat was my. It was a good movie. I mean, It was a lot of fun.
Talked about that one last week on the show.
I had a pair of checkered cons back then, you know what I mean? Not chocolate cons, checkered cons. And that was, sign of the times, a Fastway thing. And I actually used to do my album covers. My album covers, man. My fucking. Did somebody dose my fucking lemonade tonight? I mean, what the fuck?
Yes.
So, yeah. So when you were in my age and you were in school, kids used to doodle all over their books because you had paper covers, you know.
Mhm.
So on mine, I had done the Fastway cover all the way across, like at an angle. So I was actually, yeah, I thought that was cool. So I repeated it on the back side of the book. How is that for crafty, folks? I'm like, that definitely gets that puts me in the annals of design.
I can't. Oh fuck. Okay, so my honorable mention would be another a movie that we talked about last week. Also, in addition to Trick or Treat, Queen of the Damned, because it's a pretty killer fucking album. So I want to include that on mine, and also not really metal at really in any way. I think there's like one, maybe two metal songs on it, but I was really into the Idle Hounds set. Idle Hounds. Idle Hounds is a brewery down here. Okay, it is a brewery. Idle Hands, the movie Idle Hands, not Idle Hounds.
That's in the annals too.
So what's wrong with us tonight? Jesus Christ.
More important. This is normal.
Yeah, I guess. Whatever. Idle Hands gets a good they get a favorable mention, honorable mention from me too, because there's some killer tracks on there as well. That I think that makes a good soundtrack. But that's all. And then of course Freddy vs. Jason was on your list, but that was my honorable mention. So I think that about covers the soundtracks, unless anyone has anything more to add, or do you have anything more to add?
I'm good. I'm done. I'm done plumbing the annals. We're good. It's we
oh my god,
beating the thing to death. You know what I mean? You can't just let it go.
I not.
Come here and drag it down and beat it, man.
You
can't.
Listen, you must need to go like to the bathroom. You're just
talking about all
tonight.
I don't feel so constipated anymore. You feel a little better.
Listen,
it's all coming out, Stevie.
10 villains. Top 10 villains.
Villains. Does Smithers? No, I mean, is this Mr. Burns count?
We've got some good shit on here. We've got some really good stuff. We've got some great honorable mentions. There's one, I'm going to lead with this. One of my favorite mythical creatures, one of my favorite fictional characters is Cthulhu. But I did not put him on this list because I do not consider him a villain. Really. I don't.
Kind of brings about the apocalypse. I mean, that kind of.
But he's a god. He's a Leviathan. And
yes,
if you think about it from that perspective, I mean, think about the Old Testament God in the Bible. God, God's a fucking asshole. Does that mean that God is on par with the devil? You know what I mean? Is God a villain? Well, I don't know. Maybe if you look, it depends how you look at it. I don't see Cthulhu as a villain. I don't consider him good or evil. Yes, he brings about the apocalypse, but no more than we do for ants when we step on an anthill, you know what I mean? Or kill a spider or whatever. Because we are a bunch of little insects to Cthulhu. All hail the Leviathan, the cult of Cthulhu.
I'm going to stand down on this one because we could really
I know.
Yeah, I'm just going to.
But I'm going to lead with that honorable mention because I love him. I love Cthulhu. Okay. But I don't see him as a villain, so that is the only reason he's not on my list. Anyway, who's your number 5? Let's go. Let's start. Let's do backwards.
Honorable mentions first.
Yeah, so do one of your honorable mentions. Go for it.
Oh, let me look at my list. Let me see if I can. I can't actually.
I have yours. I have yours written down.
Huh? Yeah, it's written down just because my brain is addled and I can't think anymore. Let me see here.
I'll be 57 by the time he finds it.
One of actually 55 and a half, Stevie. One of my notables is, and I didn't say anything to you either about this, was Hannibal Lecter.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
cool. I didn't
Hannibal
even think of that.
Yeah, Hannibal Lecter is a monster, man, and he is absolutely a very scary individual when he's on a tear, so to speak.
Dude, like Hannibal's fucking awesome. I can't believe I didn't even think of that. One of the characters in me and Steven's book, Slash Viver, Charming Charlie, is actually based on Hannibal. So yeah. We love
Crazy.
Hannibal.
Yeah, Hannibal's a nasty motherfucker. I mean,
I actually on my top 5.
I thought about that a little earlier.
Fucking failure, everyone.
Okay, so that's my honorable. Your number 5.
Okay. My number 5 is Captain Spaulding from House of a Thousand Corpses.
Wow.
I love him. Dude. Am I stupid? Someone in the chat help me. What is his name in real life? He passed away. Rest in peace. And for whatever reason, his name escapes me. And I feel really bad about it because I can't remember his name. But I loved him as an actor. He's been in several. Sid Haig, that's his name. He's been in a number of wonderful horror movies. He's a great actor. But by far, his most iconic character to me is Captain Spaulding. And Captain Spaulding, as well as the rest of the Firefly family from the House of a Thousand Corpses franchise. Man, he's killer. He's killer. So that's my number 5.
All right. Now I'm going to shake it up a little bit and really get the juices flowing here. And no anals, okay?
No anal juice. Please. It's not a prescription commercial. All right. We do not want anal leakage. Not today.
No leakage, no drips. That's disgusting, guys. Little brown spots all over everything. We know who you are. We know exactly who did it, huh? All right, so my number 5. And this is going to actually maybe wake a couple people up. The Vampire Master from Salem's Lot.
I like it.
Mr. DeMarston was the master vampire. He's definitely a creepy motherfucker, man. That just fucking scared me. That guy creeped me the fuck out for real. I mean, I was very scared when I watched that. But then again, I was tripping. So
that's probably.
Can I say that live on? I had to walk home. A Pontiac growled at me and shit. I was like, ah! No, I'm joking.
The father of my child is in the chat. Yeah. That alarms me.
Oh God, Justin's in the chat. Yes, he is. Hello, Justin. How are you?
No, that's a good one. I wouldn't. That's why I love how our lists are so different. I love how your top 5 and my top 5 are completely different. Yeah. My number 4. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. No, the cool, funny part about it is we both like what each other mentions.
Yeah.
Very kind of compliments. Each list compliments. So it's great. This is a lot of fun. I'm enjoying this.
Yes. My number 4 was actually you reminded me of the fact that I love this one so much. The Creeper from Jeepers Creepers. Yes.
Yeah. I took him off my list so you could have him because he's the first movie I was like, what the fuck is this?
It's great.
Yeah, I couldn't understand what was going on.
That third movie was trash. Absolutely trash. And it was
Two was all right. Two wasn't so bad.
Two was fine. 2 was still in the realm of decent. And I think the creator ended up being like a fucking convicted pedophile anyway. So, whatever. Pirate the third movie. Don't give him your money.
Yeah,
he's an asshole. But no, dude, the Creeper, definitely one hell of a fucking character. Especially think about recent, in the last 20 to 30 years, right. What really iconic. Sean said the director is scarier. Absolutely. There's really been, you think of the classics and you all know who the classics are, but think of as the last 20 to 30 years, there are some really great villains who have come to life. So, I agree. Jeepers Creepers 3 is abysmal, Adrian. And But The Creeper is amazing, and he's my number 4 on the list, and I'm sticking to it.
I liked in the first movie. I loved the mystique in the beginning with him. Nobody gave it away early. You know, they let it run for a while, and you couldn't figure out what the fuck it was. And all of a sudden,
he was like more of like a road raging stalker at first, and he really, man, it's good. He's good.
That is awesome. Okay, my number 4. Obviously, it's going to be Jason because it's just he's got to have a notable mention in here. That industry has been around, you know, since the early 80s.
He was one of the classics that I was talking about, right. You know, and I didn't want to give it away, but he's one of the classics, Mr. Voorhees himself.
Right. I think, honestly, with the hockey mask and everything, I think they bit off Michael Myers just a little bit there. But they made it work. They actually made it work. And the storyline for one was pretty good. It was, you know, it's a classic. So you really can't take that away from it. And he actually carried on through the years in the franchise. Whether you like the movies or not, they were still around. You know what I mean? They actually survived all those years. So you got to give him kudos for that much at least, you know?
Yeah, of course. I mean, when you think of like iconic household names of horror, Jason Voorhees is one of them, as well as 3 others on your list that I'm not going to give away, but they are also icons. And
that would be 3, 2, and 1.
when you think of you know, like horror icons, they're definitely, you know, Voorhees and the rest are definitely in there. So, you know, bravo to you. I don't have any of the icons. I guess I kind of kept it more with newer stuff, except for one of them. Everything else is like 90s or later on my list. But then, you know, we're from different generations, so whatever.
Right.
My number three, something that I don't, you know, like you thought of Hannibal, okay? My number 3 is John Doe from Seven.
Very good, Stevie. Nice. Yeah. That's awesome.
Another serial killer, and definitely sadistic mind fuckery going on there with Kevin Spacey's character. You know, his real life nonsense. I don't condone, but Kevin Spacey is a hell of an actor.
Right.
That character from Seven is really it inspired in movies after Seven. It inspired you know, treacherous serial killer like characters. So definitely John Doe from Seven. That Seven in itself, first of all, David Fincher, phenomenal director. But Seven in itself, what a fucking movie. Great movie. Well written, well acted, well directed, well produced. Dude. Very, very few films of that genre hold a candle to Seven. And yeah. So and then Justin says Candyman. Yeah, Candyman, he gets an honorable mention.
I was thinking about adding Candyman too, because that was a really good movie. Oh, very scary. The first one was very scary.
I'm looking forward to the new one whenever it does finally come out. Fucking COVID ruining everything, but whatever.
I promise. I absolutely promise never to add Jack Frost. That will never happen. So Jack Frost will not be a part of my repertoire for a movie list. I just wanted to get that out of the way. You don't have to be my fan anymore if you disagree. It's fine. I get it. I understand. Not everybody is no, I know it's not the best movie in the world, you know, but I'm just not a fan of Jack Frost. Yeah, so I'm sorry. Get that out of the way, Stevie. Let's continue to
your number.
I'm at number 2.
No, you're number 3.
No. I'm number 3. Okay, I'll do it right now. Shut up. I got 3. Okay.
Don't argue with the list, sir.
I know. Number 3. My number 3, obviously, is Michael Myers, because I think the first.
Joe hitting it with the classics. Keeping it real.
Well, yeah, you know, well, I mean, that's my era too. Don't forget.
Yeah, of course.
There was nothing out there like that at the time. The only thing that was out there, and I don't know if I mentioned him or not. I don't know. I will at the end of this. I'll say what it was. It was one movie out there.
I have 3 more honorable mentions, as well as people who responded on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter with
Right.
their favorite villains. So we can go over that after we run through our list.
Right. Okay. So I mean, honestly, there wasn't a lot out when Michael Myers and Halloween came out. There really wasn't too much out there like that. And back in the time that they aired, it was a new frontier. It was a new threshold. There wasn't anything out there like that. I mean, pretty simple. The simplicity is there, but the threshold was broken. They went into a different place that hadn't been done before. It obviously people thought about it. It was something that could really happen. In your neighborhood. I live next door to a nut. I had a nut across the hall from me. I thought she was going to blow the building up. So this shit can happen. So that number one, I mean, my number three is Michael Myers.
Yep.
Okay.
Sorry.
So
I'm listening. I'm just going through, looking for, okay. I just wanted to make sure I had my list from, people who had responded to me on social media, because I didn't want to be an asshole. Like, tell me who your favorites are, and then completely not address it.
Right.
So my number two is not my number one, only because my number one is so cheesy and so much fun, and I fucking love it. I love the whole franchise. But number two, I have said it time and again, I am such a fan of these movies, and such a fan that I named my fucking son after one of the characters. Number two is the Xenomorph from Aliens. And yes, I am aware there's more than one, but whatever. It doesn't matter. It's the best. It's my number two villain, okay? And he's or she or whatever is awesome. So yeah, the Xenomorph is man. I mean, it's spans across an entire franchise, and then even into the prequels from Ridley Scott. You've got Covenant and with the one that starts with a P that I'm brain farting right now and I can't think of it. But anyway, yeah, those movies, the prequels, the new ones that nobody liked, but I love them. And yeah, that's my number two.
Okay, which brings me to number one.
No, you're number two. Why?
I know. I'm just making sure to keep up with me, TV. That's all. I'll count to three. I swear to God. Don't fire me. I need a job.
I don't believe that you're sober, all right? You're drunk. Go home.
Wow, that was good shit, man. All right, ready? Obviously, I'm going to keep. You don't look ready.
Me?
Now, okay, now you're ready. Thank you. Now you're ready. Obviously, I am. I'm keeping it, straight up real. Freddy Krueger is my number two. The first Nightmare on Elm Street was petrifying. It was very scary movie, especially the first dream sequence for the first time that you saw him actually enter the dream and go in and the guy actually finds out that he can bleed in the dream. So Freddy Krueger is obviously. I realize that they've gotten ridiculous over the years. But
whatever, dude.
Freddy versus Jason. Jason goes to hell. Freddy goes with them. They pack their bags and go to Peru. You know what I mean? Just weird. Yeah, weird.
Freddy and your number one were originally on my list, but I decided to change things up a little bit. But yes, I completely agree. Freddy Krueger is absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
Fuck, man, though. Like, who's better than Freddy? Like, what a great character all around. And then just Robert Englund, just
awesome,
dude.
Awesome.
Like, and the most one of my favorite lines in any horror movie is "Welcome to Prime Time, bitch." It's just so. It's just a fucking. What a fucking line! Like, what a fucking stupid line. That's just so fucking great. And Adrian says Elm Street was the first horror movie I watched. Fucking freaked the shit out of me big time.
Yeah, man. It was.
Joe keeping it real with the classics, man. Joe,
I got one that's one that's still kind of classic, but
your number one was originally my number one. But again,
really?
I had to keep it fresh, changed it up, switched it up. I went with my number one. I need a drum roll from the drummer, please. My number one horror villain is Jigsaw from the Saw
Wow,
franchise.
there it is, number one, ladies and gentlemen, number one.
I went with Jigsaw. The reason being is, I noticed that 1, 2, 3 of mine are, human killers, as opposed to monsters or anything like that. But whatever, they're not like not your traditional slashers. Jigsaw is the man with the morals. He's the killer with the morals. He's going to teach you a lesson, and he's gonna enjoy it. And I love the Saw franchise. As cheesy as it is, I have liked every single Saw. I've enjoyed it thoroughly. I love them. Some people think like, oh, they got shitty and then they got better. No, I don't care. I love all of them. I fucking love every single one of them. I think they all stand up. They're all stand-up films, and I love Jigsaw, and that's my number one.
I looked a lot like Jigsaw when I was on steroids. I did. It was pretty frightening. People, kept trying to push this little trace.
Let's clarify though that the steroids you're talking about are not making you like an Arnold Schwarzenegger. Not those steroids.
No, they were different. I'm off. I've been off them. No, these were from. Yeah. These are more internal than muscle. They weren't masculine. They were, for mind and body.
The steroids that made Joe cuckoo, like you were on speed.
Yeah. Oh man, start the show, Stevie. That's I'm not on those kinds of steroids. I get like that after eating some cookies, but
Justin said he told that the number one was going to be Jigsaw. That's the first I'm hearing of it. He didn't tell me shit about Jigsaw's your number one. I didn't hear shit from that.
No, that's good. I enjoy it. I think that's great.
And what about Machine and 8mm? Machine! Yes.
Yeah.
Fucking,
that's pretty cool.
Wasn't it Andy Belfour from True Blood played Machine in 8mm, and I could never watch that movie the same again. Without thinking it's hilarious. But anyway, moving on to your number one. You're number one. You're not out of
I want to give you a little teaser first of another character that just popped into my head while we're sitting here talking.
Oh, yep, go for it.
I'm going to give it just a line, just one line. See if you can pick up on what movie and what character it was from. It's Endsville for you, Haas.
What? Haas? It's
Endsville for you, Haas. Everything terminates in Endsville. Somebody will pick up on that, I'm sure.
Wait, am I thinking Hellraiser? Am I right in thinking that? No,
you're
not Hellraiser. I'm like, what? No, because I'm like,
no. You blew my first number one guy.
Why would you give it away?
I didn't give it away.
Yes, you did. You just said it.
I did. My number one dude, my number one brother is Pinhead. Hellraiser was one of the fucking scariest movies I've ever seen since Phantasm. I saw Phantasm in the theater, and I ran out and hid in the boys' room. My fucking older sister came and dragged me back into the theater. Get in there, shut up, be a man. I was like, I'm 12. She didn't give a fuck. So I watched that, basically duct taped to a movie seat. And then Hellraiser really just frightened the living shit out of me.
Pinhead.
Doug Bradley. Let's clarify the Doug Bradley.
Yes, that Pinhead. That Pinhead.
Yeah.
What a fucking character.
Just a sick, notion. Clive Barker, Imagika, a bunch of. I'm a very big Clive Barker fan.
Adrian said, "Boy,
what's the matter with you?" No, I'm a very big. I'm a huge Clive Barker fan. I really am. I love Clive Barker.
I was thinking about Lord of Illusions the other day randomly. I don't know why, but that's another good one.
That's a great movie.
But
Great.
Pinhead, yeah, that was originally my number one. Like you said, Doug Bradley, let's clarify.
Yeah.
What a fucking character. Just all around instills terror. And when you think, okay, the reason why I like Pinhead, when you think of other characters, okay, not Freddy, not Jason, not Michael, because those are like almost like the empty-minded slashers, something
Right.
like the Xenomorph, which it's just going to kill you no matter what. Other characters almost seem to have somewhat of a moral compass. Pinhead is just 100%. That's his purpose.
That's all he does. That's all he does.
Suffering. That is his purpose.
Torture.
Yes.
I mean,
that's
the first movie where Kelsey was in the attic and her father's face, she turns around, he turns around, and his face is completely fucking skin, right?
Yeah.
And the chains, we have such sights to show you, child. And the chains are dropping from his side, and they still have meat, flesh all along, just like,
And Pinhead is worthy. He is worthy of the number one spot, faux show.
Thank you. All right.
So what's the Ennsville for you Haas thing?
That's a character from a Stephen King novel and movie called The Dark Half.
Oh, I'm like, am I stupid? Yeah. Why don't I know?
That was the villain. That was the villain in that.
I thought it was from Hellraiser. I was like, is that like a one-liner from Hellraiser series?
I can't remember the name of the character, but just it came to my mind. I would have to refresh on that. But The Dark Half was one of the Stephen King books that I'm a pretty big Stephen King fan. So
yeah, you're the Stephen King avocado of the pair. So I'll never not call you that.
He's down in the angles of things, Stevie.
God, now I've got two. Now I've got two to make fun of you about, man.
I'm tired of my face and shame.
We have we're in the final minutes of the show, but we've got honorable mentions, man. I want to give 1, 2, 3, a 3. I have 3 honorable mentions. Victor Crowley from the Hatchet series is one hell of a fucking villain as well. But I kind of I didn't include him because we didn't need like another slasher. Same thing with Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw. And again, I love Predator. I love the films and I love the Predator like as a character. But he didn't quite make the cut. He didn't quite make the cut.
Right.
Those are my 3 honorable mentions. Do you have any more honorable mentions?
I got them pretty much all out on the table. I mean, we really dumped it out today. We dug through the depths, and I mean, I'm sure there's plethora of more villains out there, and in weeks to come and shows to come, people are more than welcome to bring those to the table.
And I mean, in the chat, Candyman, Machine, those are great. From Twitter, we've got Jackie Torrance from I'm looking Leatherface, Michael Myers, Krueger. We covered those. Jason, Captain Spaulding, Jack Torrance from The Shining. That
I was gonna mention him. Yeah,
that was a good one. We've also got from Instagram, The Blob is a really good. I wouldn't have thought of that either. You know what
Cujo.
I mean? Ooh, Cujo. Yeah, that's good.
Not the average, axe / killer.
And then another one from Facebook, Pazuzu from The Exorcist.
Ah, yeah. Oh my God! How could I possibly have missed the nun from The Conjuring?
Oh, shit.
Oh my God! How could I have?
Guys, 54 minutes this time. It was 54 minutes before Joe brought up The Conjuring.
How could I possibly have missed that thought? I'm getting old, man. I'm getting old. I actually tried to lay. I tried so hard to lay off of that movie. It wasn't even funny. It was
54 minutes. You made it a really long time tonight.
I did.
You're getting better. You don't have to go to. You don't have
Thank
to go to. What would we call that? What kind of like Alcoholics Anonymous type shit would we call that? Like Conjuring Anonymous? I don't know. Demons
CA.
Anonymous.
That's
CA.
CA. Or NA, the Nuns Anonymous.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
That could be.
Yeah, I mean, shit. We made it.
Wait.
We made it through.
There's another movie coming out later on. I'll talk about that next show.
Hey, the Graboids from Tremors. They were good too.
Yeah.
Yes. That's another honorable mention. Yes, The Conjuring 3 is coming out, Joe, but it's been pushed back. We talked about that. It's unfortunately been pushed back because of COVID, which seems to be the fucking case with everything. Fuck. 2021 is shaping up to be a good year for fucking fiction, though, with the way shit keeps getting pushed back.
Just keeps backlogging, man. It's gonna be it's just gonna be like, you know.
I'm just not gonna leave the house. I'm just gonna have a screen glued to my fucking face so I can watch movies all day. I don't really have anything else. I don't have anything else.
We dumped it all on the table tonight, Stevie, which is great. You know. Yeah. I'll have to clean the table later, but it's all over. We'll get it cleaned up though, because it's fine.
We had some really good stuff tonight. I liked it. Topics. We did get a good suggestion. Worst movie soundtrack, or no, worst movies with the best soundtracks. I don't know that we'll be talking about that next week, but in the future, definitely.
That's definitely a topic. Thank you. Yeah, that is a great topic.
I like it.
I like it. I do too.
As always, we want you guys' suggestions. Tonight's show came from just people talking shit in the chat. That's where these topics came from. So guys, send us your suggestions. Either not really in the chat, but in the YouTube comments, because I'll read them after the show. But yeah, what would you like to see us talk about? Anything to do with horror or metal or anything fun in between. Sci-fi does count, in my opinion, to qualify for the show. I'm just a big sci-fi person, though. Joe Compton says best horror deaths that were well-deserved. I like it. I'm writing it down. Well-deserved horror deaths.
All right.
I like it. We'll come up with that. And again, worst movies with good soundtracks. As usual, I'm going to roll through the social media. Follow Joe on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. He's got his own channel where he talks shit. It's called Joe Talk. And you can actually go to Joe's channel and see old episodes of Horror Metal Cast, because that's where we made our start.
Yeah.
I'm going to be One day, someone named Joe Moore is going to send me all those videos so I can.
Actually, I'm home from work this week, so I'm probably actually going to do that now. And earlier, you mentioned maybe Christmas time we could do another episode at the crib. That'll mark the first episode that we did together down in Florida. We're actually together, standing outside the beautiful sunny day by the pool, and it was gorgeous. I remember that.
We had planned to do a collab episode when we were in Europe, but I was so sick.
Both
of us.
Well, I was actually in pretty good shape.
You were actually in better shape than me.
I only had 2 bouts of chemo before we left. Two little half doses of chemo, so that was nothing. I did maybe want to talk about what happened this week a little bit for a minute. Very quick.
Let's roll through all the links real quick. So we already flashed up Joe's. Here's mine. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and my Facebook author profile. Come talk to me on these things. I like to interact with people.
Yeah, come on up and say hi to me, man. I miss you
guys. And then as usual, of course, go to horrormetalsounds.com or HM Sounds on Twitter and Instagram, your one-stop shop for horror and metal. We're going to be having some new movie reviews from my awesome review team. They're going to be coming out probably sometime end of next week, because we're all procrastinators and there's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, I'm going to let Joe take the floor real quick so he can talk about an experience.
Just real quick, just real quick, I have neuropathy, and that's from the brain tumor that I had. The brain tumor is not there, but the neuropathy stayed. That's on my right arm. I can't bend my thumb probably any further than that. These fingers are kind of numb. Normally, I get neuropathy. It goes down my arm, comes back into the palm here, does this weird pulse thing, goes back up my arm, gone. For whatever reason, 3 nights ago, I was laying in bed, sleeping, almost asleep, next to my wife, and neuropathy thing happened again. It just started doing that weird pulse thing. This time, the pulse went straight up my arm, like real rapid, fast, incredibly fast, shot right up. In 5 seconds or less, I was laid back on the bed. My eyes were opening and closing probably, maybe 50 times a minute, just like that, just rapidly flashing. I couldn't see anything. I couldn't move.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
I could breathe, but I couldn't move. I couldn't speak, and I couldn't feel my right arm. So when I woke up, when I came out of it, the EMTs were already on their way. My right arm was gone. The way it felt, I said to my wife, "Where's my arm? Where's my arm? Where's my arm?" I started looking in the bed. I thought my arm fell off. We're on the topic of horror. Maybe somebody out there wants to make a screenplay out of that puppy, huh? No, I'm kidding. Just a weird event I wanted to share with everybody because it was probably one of the creepiest things that's ever happened to me. When I came to 100%, I tried to lift my arm and it just, would flop back down like limp spaghetti.
That's got to be terrifying, man.
Yeah. I mean, I understand what these victims in the movies go through now, Stevie. I could totally relate.
And I think a lot of people, and sometimes myself included, just because you look so much better and you are, you were back to work and NDE, or NED, no evidence of disease. I think a lot of people forget that even though you're I guess you would call it in remission with the cancer and all, you still you're almost in remission. You still have all these horrible after effects and side effects that you still deal with.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people tend to forget that this is something you still have to live with,
every day. My legs, it takes me 5 minutes to get up off the couch and walk to the refrigerator now. Working, when I get up and start moving and working, I get into a little bit of flow. But first up, man, it takes me like 5 minutes to walk to the fucking bathroom.
It's rough, I'm sure.
It's hardcore. So there is a horror movie in here somewhere, I think, man. Come on, Steve. We can make some money and go down to the anals together. You know what I mean?
Listen, first of all, I'm not going to the anals with nobody. And second of all, you're an avocado, and you're an avocado in Conjuring Anonymous. And these are like the silly inside jokes that literally no one who if you don't watch this show or listen to this show, you have no idea what the fuck we're talking about.
Right. No.
Especially like anybody who happens to just watch the end, in case you're a weirdo that does that, where you just skip to the end. You get what you deserve. You get the weird anal avocados, man. Because
if you don't know that I'm a fucking avocado by now, then you know what? You guys all suck because nobody knows that.
Fuck you. Watch our show, subscribe to our channel, and give us a like. Share the show with your friends. You guys are awesome. And as always, thanks for tuning in. Anyway, all right, guys, we're out of here. We'll see you next week. Same place, same time. You rock.
Peace out. Later, guys.